What is going on, guys? My name is Juan, and today we are going to be going over DNS. So, today's question is describe the functions of a DNS. And for those of you that don't know, DNS stands for a domain name system. And what a domain name system does is that it converts the domain name into an IP address for computers to read and then search up and load up what you're actually trying to look for. So, first of all, what is a domain name? So, different websites have different domain names that you type up and then you search it up and then you go to that website. For example, Target, the company Target, their website is just target.com because when they created their website, the domain name was Target, so it was easier for us mortals to understand uh, how to find their website easily. And in another example, this website that we're going to be using today, hcidata.info, their domain name is hcidata, so that if we want to do stuff about HCI data, then we could just search up the domain name and make it easier for us to access. However, computers, they don't read domain names. What they do is they read IP addresses, and IP addresses are a different sets of numbers. There's two different versions of IP addresses. There's IPv4, which is in multiple different computers, many, if not all, and there's also a newer version, IPv6, because IPv4 there was only a certain limit of IP addresses it could formulate, so they had to create a new one called IPv6 so that it could create more and more IP addresses. So every website has its own IP address, and we're going to be using this website today to look over a few examples. So, a DNS system, just to remind you, converts the domain names to IP addresses because computers can't read domain names, it reads IP addresses, and we uh, use domain names to make it easier for us because IP addresses would be way more complicated for us to understand as mortals. So, we're on this website, HCI Data, and let us search up. For example, I used Target, and you could already see I tested it out. But if you just hit Target, find IP address, it's going to take forever to load. But when it eventually does load, you could see Target cannot be resolved to an IP address. So what you actually have to do is go and hit target.com to find your IP address. So once we do that, and then we take 8 years for it to load, you could see the host name target.com, that is the domain name, and then the DNS would convert that domain name target.com into an IP address. And there's actually 4 different IP addresses for target.com, which is interesting. So there's the IP address for target.com. It also says location, which I don't really care for. So there we go. That is domain name. Let's try a couple more. Let us do insidepacific.com and search the IP address for that. And the IP address 69.172.201.153. You can see that it's probably an IPv4 because it has 4 different sets of numbers. And then, of course, the domain name is Inside Pacific and location is the US. But that doesn't really matter for today's exercise. Anyways, I hope that you understood a bit more about DNS, domain name systems, and the functions it has with domain names and IP addresses, and the usefulness it has for companies and for us mortals. And thank you guys for watching yet another video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.